What's up? I'm gonna be talking to myself for a while here because I am mixing my epoxy. I got a two-part high gloss epoxy here. Very nice, very high quality. Been using it for a long time, but haven't been incorporating into my art for a while because, it's expensive and y'all don't buy nothing. So, nothing expensive, which I don't blame you guys, but it's time to continue the creation process regardless. I'm making a very large panel here, as you can see. You can't really pick out much of the details from the video, from what I can see. There's raised portions here, little abstract shapes. The resin will help it pop out a lot more. I mean, in the video, I don't know how it's going to look. It doesn't really matter. But the resin's going to make it pop out more. I mean, super shiny. I'm sure you guys have seen paintings with a whole bunch of resin on it. So I'm making a cup full of resin right now. Oh yeah, you see it? Look at it. Look at it. Oh yeah. Oh, you can't see it. It's okay. You gotta mix it very well. If you don't mix it well, it's not going to cure properly, which has happened a few times. A couple of smaller pieces I made. I didn't mix it for as much as I was supposed to. Ooh, bubbles. Be careful with that. Don't inhale. I didn't mix it for as long as I was supposed to, and half of the panel, which, like I said, was small, was beautiful, perfect, great gloss, cured perfectly, and the other half was sticky, and it was sticky for years. It's still sticky. So what I did to combat that stickiness, since I'm an abstract artist and I can do whatever I want, I went ahead and took some dry, like a powder color for Archistone, which we use to augment. Any color of Archistone. We can create any color. So I just did that. We had some leftovers of like some dark brown that was just kind of hanging out that I knew we weren't going to use, and I just went ahead and just sprinkled it on the panels. It worked out perfectly because it was a brownish panel regardless. I was using a bunch of browns. It looked very chocolatey, very jungly, I should say. Some jungle feelings, jungle fever in that panel. Very small. But as you can see, there's this one. There's this one. And I don't know. I don't know what this one is yet. It hasn't spoken to me. It hasn't spoken to me very loudly. I mean, it has in a way, but I haven't sat down to listen to it. Which, somebody can speak all they want. You still have to listen. You have to hear what they're saying. You have to sit down and shut your mind off and shut your mouth off mostly. Open up your ears, or in this case, open up your mind and just look what they're trying to tell you. Look what they're trying to tell you. I don't know how long I've been mixing. Come on, Facebook Live. You should have like a timer. Oh well. So I've met a few people that have been trying to get into resin lately, and making just novice mistakes, just like I used to do. The biggest thing is, first of all, not using plastic to stir this. If you're using wood, I mean, you can still use metal, but I don't know what kind of person would use metal. It's going to ruin it. It's going to keep adding more and more and more. If you use wood is cellulose, and it's got air in it. It's going to aerate your resin, and you're going to have a bunch of bubbles to deal with. Like, it's not going to mix it properly. It's not going to mix it well. So when you're trying to pour it, you're going to have a huge problem with getting it to remain clear. And the second thing, after I pour it, I will start showing you, but you have to release the air bubbles. How do you do that, Mr. Psychè? I'll tell you, little birds, little birdlings, do a little bit of heat. Just a little bit of heat. What kind of heat do you use, Mr. Psychè? Great question. You guys are such inquisitive crowds. Use a little torch. I got a torch at my feet. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I think it's been nice. I mean, it's been almost like 5 minutes of mixing. I hope we can move on. And it looks like it's good. It looks like... I just don't want to experience another sticky panel situation since this is a big panel. And I'm really hoping to not do that with this panel. Since I also haven't worked with resin in probably over 2 years. Since my focus has been music. I haven't been really experimenting with my bigger art pieces, but it seems like time has come. Visual art has been coming in and out, or coming in a lot more lately. If some of you have seen, I just picked up like 60 or so 60 or so gallons of paint. You might be able to see a couple buckets of paint back here. Little big ass buckets of paint. 25 gallon? I'm a liar. 17 liter, so like 20 liter. So 5 gallon buckets. Okay. Ha ha ha. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have a couple somewhere else. I have like a 5 gallon buckets, and then like 70 or 80 gallon buckets of different colors. I think I'm ready to start pouring this. Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna stay seated for this. I might not have enough to cover the whole thing, so I'm just gonna start out with just the tops of my abstract shape. And I like to do, if I don't cover the whole thing, I like to do abstract accents. Just to continue the randomness factor coming down from my knife. So let's just start out with that, and I'll see how it goes. See, I love the way the resin flows, because I have great control. It's got amazing viscosity, just incredible viscosity, and it comes down oh so pretty. Ha ha ha. It's gonna have such a nice little sheen to it too. Let's start with just all this. Once that's covered, I'm going to move on, or covered, once it's gotten to a nice amount of coverage, not fully covered, I'm going to move on, and if I have extra, which I probably should, I have a whole cup here, but, better to be smart, because I'm not a measurer. I don't measure, I just do, and maybe engineering friends will be like, what? Yeah, I don't ever measure, I'm sorry. I just do, and then see what happens. If it's meant to be, it's gonna happen. If it's not meant to be, it's not gonna happen. And if it's not gonna happen, then it's gonna be exactly how it was supposed to be. You can't control things, you can't control art, you can't control life, so don't even try. Just allow it to be what it wants to, and it's gonna be better for it. Same thing when it comes to people. Don't try to manipulate people to being what you want them to be. Allow them to be what they are, and you will appreciate them more. They'll be more beautiful because you actually see their benefits, their light side, and then you're not trying to change them into something that they're not. None of us want to be changed, we just want to be accepted. So, if you can learn to start accepting paintings for what they want to be, without saying, oh, it needs to have a thing here or a thing there. You can start to push that to things that are more complex, like human beings. Human beings are more complex. If you want to know the secret to happiness, at least my secret to happiness, it's right here. Relinquish all control. And just hold an emotion in your heart, which is beauty, love, happiness, whatever you want to hold on to, pain, misery, whatever you need to express, and put it inside of your paint. put it in the motion of your hand, because we're all divine creatures. It's all within us. The DNA is within us. The universe is within us. The quantum code is within us. Whatever. It's all inside of us. So, if we just learn to let go of our own mind, of our own conscious illness of trying to make everything work the way we think we want it. By the way, we don't know what we want. Just let it go. Allow it to flow from inside. And eventually, you'll start to feel more and more, and you'll start to feel better and better. And it's going to start to just make sense. Things are going to start to make sense. And you don't need to, yeah, that's just how it goes. It's very simple, I promise you guys. It's very simple. The hardest part is letting go. You know, they always say, jump, you gotta jump off the cliff or something, I don't know, to see if your wings open or something, right? Same thing here. Just gotta go into it not knowing, and being fine with not knowing, being okay with the fact that you're not gonna know. Okay? Once you get okay with that fact, you just kind of progress and make your best judgment as you move along. Nobody's grading you. Nobody's telling you you're good or bad. You just are. And that's the beauty. You just are. I might have enough to cover the whole thing. Maybe. You know, I'm going to have a little bit of patches here and there, which I love patches. Speaking of patches, I remember a guy that came here from LA whose name is Patches. Great musician. He's on my Instagram somewhere. Maybe he'll be back. Who knows? Love you, Patches. Okay, let me look at it from a light perspective. Wide angles. Yes. Yes. Ha 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 ha. One more down here. I'm hoping to present this piece at Columbia City Theater in December. I was talking to Michelle. She seemed pretty excited to get my stuff on the walls, and I've been getting a lot of my really big pieces ready. Well, I mean, they've been ready. They're just kind of sitting around, you know, presenting here. But ready in the sense that how I'm going to present it at the theater. I'm just kind of looking around and contemplating and you know, doing my artistic thing in my head. So it should be cool. And that's when this thing came to mind. I had this piece waiting for me. Or this panel sitting around. I was like, it's like you knew I wanted you. It's like you knew I wanted to work with you. And so now I'm back to creating these beautiful pieces of art. I love resin. I love working with resin. I love making these panels. Very artistic and beautiful for the home too. Very beautiful for the home, wherever you put it, wherever you decide to hang it. And it will embody all of my energy, all the words that I've spoken today, all the emotions that are in my heart, which are pretty freaking great. I gotta tell you that. Pretty great emotions. Oh yeah. And all that will be yours for the taking. Haha. If you can afford it. Haha. It's funny. I'll probably be posting this piece for at least 1,000. At least 1,000. Okay, I think we've made it to the point of torching it. Let's do it. Change your hands. You don't want to ruin your torch. Where did I put my torch? Picked it up. I moved it. Tell me where. Tell me where. I see you. Okay. Now, if you don't use a torch, you're going to have a lot of air bubbles. Not that you're going to see, but I see. So you want to start in the very beginning and cover every square inch, every square millimeter, every square anything. That's how you bring attention to your piece. That's the first thing. Let me see if I can do a holy thing. That's how you bring attention to every centimeter of your piece. And try not to breathe on it too much because that stuff is toxic. But that's how you do it. You put attention to every little piece of your painting. Make sure that it's perfect. And by perfect I mean was examined and it was acceptable. It doesn't have to be, what you expect it to be. It just has to be looked at. Same thing with your internal structure. Anytime you're looking at yourself, anytime you're going through a past event or a future anxiety that you have, just make sure you look at it, examine it, and let it go. If there's something that stands out to you that is completely unacceptable, that's when you can do something about it. That's when you would want to do something about it. Let's say it's a past event. Let's say there's something in your history that finally made sense. When you looked over to it, you saw that maybe you're in the wrong one way or another. You can either close your eyes to it, but then it's going to remain present. It's as if a fly flew into my resin right now and I just left it. You could have said, "That's an interesting touch, Andre." And I should have said, "Yes, I meant for that to be there." But if I saw it there and I didn't want it to be there, and then I pretended like it wasn't there, you can see how everybody sees it, and I'm just being in denial that it's there or it's not there. So you want to look through the whole piece, through every section. You want to bring your focus to every little piece of section of your painting, or your heart, or your soul. And then what I like to do is go a second time around in a different direction. That way, if I missed anything, it'll be covered in this section. I try to make as little amount of mistakes as possible. If I make a mistake, I'm not going to be sad about it. I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to be anything about it. Mistakes happen. But once you made enough mistakes, you learn that if you want to avoid them, you have to create an environment that does not foster mistakes. Our DNA does a great job. It does like 1 or 2 mistakes every few billion replications. And me, I cover those mistakes by just going over it twice. Proofread it. Before you publish it, proofread it once, then send it to somebody else to proofread it again, and then you publish it. If you look at an essay or a book or whatnot. I did not do that with my book. I did not proofread it. Well, I mean, I did, but I didn't send it to anybody else. That's why 2 years later, I went back to read it and spelling mistakes. But you know what? I let go of it. I let go of it. No judgment on me, from me. You can judge me. That's your call. You can do what you want. Okay, as you can see, we've done that. Torch turns off. I'm going to double check all of my resin with the light bouncing off it. I don't know. You probably can't see it, but I can. Let's get real close to it, so the light is reflecting off nice and clear, and you're looking for air bubbles, which they're not hard to get rid of. You saw, I wasn't burning it. I wasn't holding it too long. I was just close, and it was just enough to get rid of any imperfections. And yep, it looks like I'm all good. The other thing you have to be careful for is, working in a dusty environment. If you're in a dusty environment, this is going to sit here and dry and cure for a while. It ain't going to be good if some dust flies in. Now, this used to not be a dusty environment, but now it's not necessarily my location, you could say, So, I'm going to hope for the best. I'm going to put my torch away. Let's do this. You guys can see just a little bit. Can I switch the camera now? I can. I'm gonna switch the camera now. Check it out. Whoa, 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 whoa. I can't rotate my device while live, it says. Okay. Alright. See, as you can see, I'm gonna do it like this. Oh shit, you're going live. Yeah, Taylor, I do that sometimes. As you can see in the reflection, if I didn't go with the torch, you would see a lot of bubbles coming up, or just little imperfections in the glimmer. But since I went through, you don't see much, and it's all just shiny. It's all shiny. Ooh yeah. Bum, bum, bum. Go around. Now the last thing I'm going to do once I try is just get these sides, maybe, I don't know, maybe paint them black or do something to make it look finished. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Then I'm going to cut this edge. You see this edge? It's not a flat edge. Now, usually I don't care, but maybe I don't care. Maybe I'm going to leave it like this. That's all, folks. Check out this painting that I've been working on for years. It's on the side of my paint booth. And it's just evolving, every day evolving. And the true art's on the ground. Always is. Can't capture it all, just like improvisational music. Can't capture it all. See my shoes? Fit right in. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, bye. Love you.